Okay, here we go. This is going to be my first real installment of my traffic time or traffic talk. I can't remember what I'm going to call it yet. One of the two. But I wanted to get an introductory video going and do some other things. But some stuff happened today that I thought I just really want to start talking about things. And so anyway, what happened today? I'm out running errands. I'm off work because I had a dental appointment, and I'm running up. I just got from Costco, got some gas, and I'm heading over to the camera place. But before I left for some of these errands, I was watching a YouTube video that Casey Neistat had just published probably now about 7 hours ago, and it already had like 500,000 views. But he was demonstrating, he had gotten an advanced copy or an advanced Spark, one of the DJI Sparks, and he was showing that off. But it wasn't a full product yet, that kind of thing. But what I found interesting is he made a comment in that video that he's under investigation by the FAA and he can't fly in New York. So the premise of the video is he rented this fancy car and they went to some place outside of, there's an ambulance coming by. So he went to some place outside of the city to demonstrate the DJI Spark and compare it against the, hang on, let's let this guy go by, and compare that against the DJI Mavic. So getting back to what I want to talk about, but he said, I'm under investigation by the FAA and I don't want to fly in New York and get in more trouble, and then he kind of talked about you need to fly safe, and he kind of gave that speech. And so there's been a lot of, and I don't want to get on the bandwagon of all of that, people that fly good or bad or whatever. I've got my pilot certificate, my Part 107 for the, I shouldn't say pilot, but for my remote small UAS operator certificate. So I've done all this studying and I know, what the regulations and the laws are. And it was always interesting that you watch a lot of these people with millions of subscribers that do these vlogs and what they do with these drones, and how the FAA never really seemed to be too concerned about it. And a lot of people picked on Casey about the way he flew, and how he, how he flew. I won't make any judgment calls. But although sometimes it was kind of cringeworthy, I'll say that. But but now he's under investigation, so I wanted to talk about that. Let this guy go. It's all good, because it's going to be interesting. I mean, he would have made it more of a story if he was trying to say that for kind of that clickbait type of a thing. That would have been his headline. I'm being investigated by the FAA, or something. He would have done something like that. So he just sort of said it in passing. I found that really kind of interesting because it makes my head spin what could possibly happen. The FAA, maybe it's not. Maybe he's not really under investigation. Maybe they just told him to knock it off. But the way he said it, I'm under investigation. If you take that and you follow that conclusion, or you follow that process, then that could be potentially really financially significant to him if you go back and think about all of the videos he did. And I'm not going to link anything. I mean, you can find him on YouTube, but potentially the FAA, they could levy some pretty heavy fines. I mean, I don't even know, and I don't even, he never says anything about having an operator's license, so an FAA license, a Part 107. I'm guessing he doesn't have one, but I mean, if he's let's assume for a second that he doesn't. All of those videos that he's posted with the drone footage, if he's monetized those videos, technically he's making money off of it, so he can't do that without the license. There's flying over people, flying over in airspace. I'm not sure. I don't know. But assuming you could look at those videos and rack up a charge for each one of those things, and I go back to what happened to that guy in Seattle who crashed his drone into the Space Needle, and I'll have to look that up and post really what the end result was. I'll just have to throw up a graphic on that because I don't know off the top of my head, but I think he got some jail time out of that, and I don't know if it was just ended up being just probation, or the guy did a couple of months in the county jail. I don't know what happened with that, and I'm sure he got a fine. And that was, as far as I can tell, that flight, the only thing he did wrong, I'm on the Seattle thing right now, the Space Needle, the only thing he did wrong was not report the accident, really. I can't, it doesn't look, and I don't know, I haven't seen the whole video, I just saw the piece of it where the drone crashes into the, the tower itself, but he's not in restricted airspace. He's flying within, well, maybe he's not, he's flying 400 feet above a structure, but maybe he wasn't, within 400 feet of that structure when he was flying above it, so maybe he violated some airspace that way. But, and the FAA probably, I'm not sure if they were involved with it, or NTSB was involved with it, or the county just got involved with it, and the federal government stayed out of it. I don't know how that played out. But assuming the FAA had something to do with that, and they fined him that, they fined him that for not reporting it, and then you look back at what potentially could happen to anybody who's on YouTube who's published a video with a mistake, whether it's intentional or just I didn't know, kind of mistake. It could be significant. So yeah, I'm going to the photo store, and I want to check out a new bag, because the one I have that I did the video on is just a little bit too small, and I want to get a bigger one, just to have a little bit more room. So if I need to take, the thing I've got now is a great day bag, but if I want to take it on a weekend, I want to take all my chargers and stuff, I want those all in one bag. So that's where I'm going to right now. So I just want to take a little break from my Casey Neistat story, because I don't know where this is going, and I'm kind of interested to see what the YouTube community thinks, because it could be potentially bad, or it could be just a slap on the wrist. And really, I think, I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of on the fence on this whole thing, because it's so hard to know. I mean, certain things you got to understand. You can't fly around an airport. Certain things are obvious. Some other things aren't quite so obvious. And then when you get outside of the FAA's rules and you get into each state, county, city, and you get down into what those rules are, it's really hard to know if you are having a legal flight. I mean, it's pretty obvious if you're having a safe flight, and you can plan and you can map, you can do the best you can, go through your operation, do all your pre-planning, do all your checks, call all the control towers, do all that stuff, and still be in somewhere down in the Bay Area here in California, and there's a whole park system that's banned all the drones from every park in the East Bay. I think it's the East Bay Park District. I can't remember what it's called, but and it's not, unless you, if I just showed up down there and I had not seen it on the news because I happened to be down there for business in Oakland, I probably wouldn't even know. I doubt it's posted when you go into the park on the signs. Maybe it is, but you just don't know. So you kind of have to use your gut on that. But you go back to what's happening with Casey Neistat under investigation, and when they start talking about how they stack fines, and it's like tens of thousands of dollars or worse, I'm just kind of interested how that plays out. And I hadn't heard anybody really mention that before until he said it in his video that he was having an issue. I've never heard anybody else talk about it, so I don't know if this is like breaking news or it's just like yeah, whatever. But because the FAA didn't really get involved at all with that drone slayer court case that was in, back in the East, was that Alabama, Kentucky, somewhere in there? Kentucky, I think. And the FAA didn't even step up. So it's really kind of odd. This whole thing's kind of odd. And so I'm almost at my location. So I want to finish this up because I'm kind of rambling a little bit, or a lot, and probably half the people have tuned out by now. But I'm kind of interested in everybody's thoughts. It's like, what, just from the FAA, and you could go through and see a lot of YouTubers who are, if you just look at what the FAA has to say about what the laws of the national airspace are, there's 100 examples of people violating those types of laws. And at what point how does the FAA choose who they investigate and who they don't? Because they've got a finite amount of resources, and they can't regulate everybody. They can't go after everybody. But I mean, how do they choose, and how is that fair, or how is it not fair? If you're a guy following the rules, I would love to post a YouTube video of my Mavic drone flying down over stalled I-80 traffic in Sacramento, and fly down the highway and fly through the wildlife refuges around here, go through Yosemite. I'd love to do that, but I can't do any of that stuff, and I won't do any of that stuff. But it's really frustrating when you see people that are doing it and publishing it on YouTube and getting 1 million views, and you're just like, well, you just can't go there. Likewise, if you're in the business of trying to run a drone business and you want to do those roof inspections, or you want to do that real estate shot, but that house happens to be under the restricted airspace of a airport or a military base or whatever, and you don't do it, and then some other guy just does it because he doesn't care, and the realtor pays him, and you just lose business because you can't get the waiver in time. You can't wait 90 days to get a waiver to fly in under a Sacramento Executive Airport's airspace. It's going to take you 90 days. That house is, the way the market is in Sacramento right now, that house is gone. It's 2 days on the market. So, and not that that's happened to me. I haven't tried. I'm not doing any of that stuff. But I know people who, heard of people who have. And so the people that are trying to follow the laws and the rules and are trying to do the right thing are financially or creatively, they're missing out on an opportunity. It's not an opportunity. They're missing out because they are following the law. And the people who just don't, they're the ones that are getting all the attention. And here I am at action camera. So I'm going to end this, but that's just my thought. It's like, but what do you think? Where are we on this thing? And I'm kind of interested, take kind of guesses. What do you think is going to happen? Maybe it's just, maybe this whole thing is just sort of a ruse for him, and he's going to run a couple of videos and kind of tease everybody about it. And I hope nothing bad happens to him, because I really enjoy his videos. He's one of the guys that got me into making YouTube videos. And the way he does his editing and his storytelling is like, I hope someday I can get like 10% of that. But I don't want to see anything happen to him. I want to see him keep publishing videos and maybe do some public service to say, hey, here's the right way to fly a drone. That would be great. But I don't want to see anything nasty happen to anybody. Let's get our act together. Let's make this. If you've got a drone, let's make this, whether it's a hobby, a recreation, or you're doing it as a business. Let's try to advance this and not cause people to hate us, or cause local governments to shut us down, or do everything they can to put a net over our sky, because otherwise we're not going to get anywhere, and it's just going to be a problem after problem after problem. I don't want to feel like I'm a criminal every time I break out my drone and fly it. So I'm kind of interested to see what happens with this, and I hope for the best, and I hope it's a learning experience for everybody and just not a sensational news item on the national news. Okay, that's it. I'm going to go in. I'm going to see if I can find a new backpack. I think that one that's, if you can see it, that one right there, that Mindshift one is the one I was looking at before, but I just don't know if anything's going to fit, so I'm going to try it out. All right, that's it for traffic time. And you saw a little bit of the Sacramento traffic. Thursday afternoon. Or no, what day is it? Wednesday afternoon. I'm off today. I don't know what day it is. Yeah, so there you have it. All right, OPG, I'm out. Okay, thanks for watching or listening if you're on a podcast. The next installment of Traffic Time, we're going to dive a little bit deeper into this situation with Casey Neistat under investigation and just some of the history that's got us to this point, because it's an incredibly confusing environment to fly in right now. As a drone operator, whether you're licensed or recreational, it's really tough. So in the next episode, we'll talk about Skypan. We'll talk about the Part 107 in general, and kind of talk about some of the recent court cases, and just try to make some sense of where we're at. And maybe we'll try to do some predictions and analysis of the investigation that Casey's under. Okay, so see you next time. Thanks for tuning in. OPG is out.